I can't be the only one that's so like I'm over this Kendrick and Drake beef. It's not a situation where you get a second try. As the great late Chadwick Boseman said, he never yielded. But Killmonger was right. Ain't no second rounds or second tries, man. You lost, Drake. Wop 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 wop. Ain't you tired? Ain't you tired, Drake? You lost, bro. And you could have lost gracefully. I was already starting to forget about that beef. But yet, here we are again. Here we are again talking about it. How you guys doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers. And I want to talk about something. So, after Drake lost that battle, instead of him to be like some of the late greats who have taken L's in rap battles and gotten back in the lab and tried to make something phenomenal to counter or, just squash the beef and move on. Or maybe even take the high road like your big brother, Jermaine, Cole. You could have done that. But you chose to take the petty route. And you're not helping yourself or your name or your talent or your agency at all. Any existence of you being a tough guy or a person of interest in the rap gang, you've lost a lot of street cred. A lot of it. And then it's in large part because, just the way you handle things. It sends a sour signal. But I too would be extremely concerned about in approximately 3 to 4 months, NFL Super Bowl stadium stage worth of people screaming, certified pretty boy, certified pedophile. Like those lyrics right there being screamed on national TV on the Super Bowl is probably going to be the most viewed thing of the year in America. And knowing that like your name will be associated with being a PDF file and a room full of people will be singing it, it's actually probably something I would be super concerned with. So there's a part of me that understands legitimately. I think I'm going to take a stand here. I'm going to take a stand here. I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian and say I want to defend Drake here. I want to defend Drake on multiple platitudes. And don't get me wrong. My only interaction with Drake was when I was in Toronto back when they won the championship. I bumped into him at Jurassic Park and he said, "We in this mother lover. We run this mother lover." And then he ran off. He also has a very goofy run. I see why he doesn't he walks everywhere. He has a very goofy run. But yeah. Having a Super Bowl stadium televised version of a bunch of people just calling you a pedophile would be worse. But this song that has brought so much disdain and stress towards to Drake is not what becoming of himself, because there is an underlying reason to believe that his accusations bear weight. And just for the clarification purposes, as it stands today, 11/26/2024.
Hey bro, I think I'm gonna head on in for the night. I'm kind of tired.
No problem. Get some rest.
Hey, didn't you work today?
12-hour shift.
And you went to the gym?
PR to 700 deadlift.
And you still got energy to do all this work? Where does the energy come from, bro?
I'm at my best when I have my zest, baby.
Okay, zest?
The Zest Super Berry Samba Green Tea comes packed with 135 milligrams of caffeine and L-theanine. That's how I stay focused for longer and stronger throughout the day with no crash. It's way better than coffee or any of those sugar-filled energy drinks out there. No GMO, gluten-free, and it won't stain your teeth.
Oh yeah, that sounds real good. Is this one right?
Yes, sir, that's the one. But my brother in Zest, I'm gonna need you to get your own Super Berry Samba Green Tea.
Selfish.
You mad, bro? Don't worry, I got you. Use my promotional code down below to get 20% off selected items and the subscriptions. That's Coding with Strangers, all one word. Put that in the checkout box and you'll be good to go. Thank you so much to Zest for the sponsorship. Drake is not necessarily suing UMG. They are simply making the legal proceedings to gather information unabated. So basically, this is the equivalent of two lawyers saying, hey, can we look at the evidence you have without a court order or anything like that? Can you just show us what we want to see? And if what you show us is substantial enough, we will either choose to sue you or go about our business. The funny part is UMG represents both of these things. And this could both of these entities, which is Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And there's something kind of underbelly curtain about two of the biggest rap stars being monopolized by one distributor or by one signing group that we need to have a conversation about. And I think would be more important about the monopolization of black talent in America. But since nobody would ever watch that video, we're here to talk about their drama, right? Clap it. We're degenerates. We all love a good story, especially when someone gets called out on a stage in front of millions and millions of people about being a potential pedophile. It's great. We love it. So let's find out what's the dealio. Yeah, that's right. I said dealio. And then we'll figure out how these bots come into play, because we're a tech channel. Hashtag not a political channel. Drake accuses UMG and Spotify of scheming to artificially inflate Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Drake initiated legal action against Universal Music Group, UMG, and Spotify over allegations that two companies conspired to artificially inflate the popularity of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. In filing Monday, November 25th, yesterday, Manhattan Court, Drake Frozen Moments LLC. That's the name of his company? He's such a loser. Accuses UMG of launching an illegal scheme to involved in bots, payola, and other methods to pump Lamar's song, a track that savagely attacked Drake amid an ongoing feud between the two stars. UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practice, attorneys of Drake company right. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming service and airwaves. Drake's attorney accusing UMG of violating Racketeer, Influenced and Corruption Organization Act, which is the RICO case, which is actually diabolical if you were following the Young Thug court case. Drake is literally not bar for bar, but essentially saying that UMG is a RICO, like a gangster type mob situation, which underpins what I said earlier about the fact that UMG has a monopoly over all of these people. Drake has grounds to stand on. He's just standing on swampland. He needs to come over to the mainland so he can get a proper defense. He needs to be looking at the fact of the matter that one company has so much power to influence so many things, and he has to use the relevance of a RICO case in order to justify his actions. It's complete madness to think that this RICO case is going to stick. But the fact that you can only articulate these actions through a RICO is diabolical. They also allege deceptive business practices, and false advertising under the New York state law. The court filing are remarkable twist in a highly profile beef between the two stars, and saw Aubrey and Lamar exchanging stinging diss tracks. One of them was stinging, the other one was lukewarm at best. Over a period of months earlier this year, that such a disappointment would spill into the business litigation seems almost unthinkable in the world of hip hop. This is not how Biggie and Tupac handled their shit. This is why older generations call us soft. This is why older generations call us soft and they don't like our generation. Because of shit like this. Like Drake, you're literally keeping up with the tides of the song. You're not like us, bro. It's just hard for us to take you serious. But there are some things of interest that we want to actually look here into, which is UMG has different facets of their company that is manage and work with different talents. So it's not as nuanced as you would think of a normal company where there's a CEO and further delineation breakdowns. There's multiple CEOs or multiple caretakers for multiple huge artists who then relegate how resources are used and made up. Because as you could probably imagine, artist or someone like Drake or someone like Lamar don't make records they don't make products every day. They don't make something that is receivable or returnable every day. They have to go into hibernation, work on their craft, come back out, send something, have it edited, have it viewed, have it liked, and then they finally put it on tour. Then they go on so it comes in ups and waves and cycles. So in this matter of fact, there's the allegation is that Drake's team believes that people within the company who work specifically with Drake's team were cut off, laid off, fired, and they artificially boosted artists' records to make them substantially stand out more. Now, let's just talk about Not Like Us from a standpoint of craftsmanship and reachability. We're talking about a song, like the reason why this song will not do well is because this song is literally played. This is a song about a potential pedophile being played at quinceañeras, at graduations. This is being played on college campuses where football games are being live broadcast. This is the bump into the NBA for the 2024. That's the bump. Not Like Us is playing the instrumental, right? Not Like Us had enough reach because the two biggest, arguably the two biggest current rappers in the game were having a beef on par with anybody else you want to put this with. You could say Jay-Z and Lil Wayne, Biggie and Tupac. This is as big as this for our generation. So to make the argument that this isn't going to there are people, this song has been co-opted and adopted as safe by a white audience, for lack of better terms, right? Fox News will feel comfortable playing this song. Oh yeah, those Democrats are not like us. Certified this, certified lover boy, certified election. You lost. Like they would do some goofy shit like that. Bum 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 bum. But it's the fact that the song is catchy, the fact that the song spread like wildfire doesn't decline or deny the fact that bots were probably involved with inflation of the numbers. And this is where I can probably defend Drake a little bit harder. Right? Because as a person who makes content, I get hundreds of emails about SEO specialists who are going to make sure my video gets seen. No, you're just going to put the 1,000 of bots in your server and make them watch my thing and say, hey, look, see, you got a bunch of views, pay me. Oh, what? You got 1 million views, but you only have 3 comments? No, don't worry about that. They just loved your video so much they didn't want to interrupt the flow. So let's talk about how cheating the system always benefits the people at the top. All right. Streaming farms, how fake streams are taking over Spotify. Spotify, by no stretch of the imagination, doesn't have an issue with this. Right? There's no stretch of the imagination that this isn't a problem for them. It's been well documented. This article is from November 4th, but here we are talking about it today, right? Streaming farms are organized networks where people and automated bots repeatedly stream a song to inflate the play count. These activities aim to make tracks appear more popular than it is. Streaming farms can distort genuine popularity metrics across platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. Analytics estimate up to 10% of all music streamed globally is faked. Driven by such operations, this undermines their fair competition and creates misleading perceptions of success in the music industry, especially in an industry where if your song blows up on TikTok, you're given a 360 deal. It's a shit 360 deal. But if you're making music in your mother's closet, you'll take it, right? And if you know that your song just needs to be danced to by one random person to make a stupid dance to go with it, you're good as gold. How big is the problem for streaming? Streaming farms create a huge problem for integrity of music charts, playlists, platforms, algorithms, and traffic. Is difficult to determine what's truly popular and skewing both listeners and trends and industry expectations. For independent artists, this manipulation can unfairly create barriers because genuine engagement is often buried under artificial boosted songs. A second effect on the independent artists is that there is now less money in the streaming pool to pay artists with authentic listeners. Yeah, so it takes money off the table for people, and it makes it a lot more difficult for them to make money. The question is, do farms actually work? The answer is yes and no, and it very much depends on who you are, right? Because if you are a person who has 1,000 followers and you made a new TikTok song, and let's say you got 50,000 views, which is probably somewhere around, a few $100. Good. But you don't want the train to end there, right? You're seeing your numbers go on the decline. Yeah, you should hit it. But the moment you are exposed as being a botter or a farm harvester, you're going to probably get dropped by the social public. There's something about being caught cheating that when you are probably the most likely person to do it and you do it, they blame you. But farming in the likes of people who have an established community, an established following, an established listening is way more lucrative. And if you're not doing it, it's almost a waste, so to speak. It's almost a waste not to do it. Here's the example. Remember, we had talking about a person who had 1,000 followers, 50,000 views. Great money for that 1,000 for that one person. But if you're Kendrick Lamar and you have 6.7 million people following you and you get 100 million views a day, who's gonna know the difference between 100 million and 1.5 million, right? Who's gonna be able to differentiate that? Because that 0.5 is about 800 some K, right? It's probably like 80K, but like it adds up every day. 80 plus K every day. It adds up. And I don't know anything about like the CPMs of money and of the music industry. I'm pretty sure it's pretty lucrative. That's why people keep making music. But when you're an established person, 1 million views per song or per music video does great work for you. So it is imperative, and there is an incentive, and it's lot harder to prove. It's a lot harder to prove. And it talks about here, can they make money? Evidence shows that the profit often low for many since the streaming payout are minimal. So it's just what I thought. It'd be a lot more lucrative on YouTube, where ad revenue drives a lot of those plays, and ad companies look for anybody who can produce numbers. But there have been some people in places that have been accused of bot farming. G-Eazy. I hope they don't mean Jeezy. G-Eazy. Blueprint Group. French Montana. Tidal for Kanye and Beyonce. Right? And there's clear ways to telling how it works. Example of a fake spike looks a lot like this. The latest release date, and then it has a normal groundswell, and the groundswell looks normal, but then you see the differential. You can see the breaking points, and then the rise and the fall are never like symmetrical. But on top of that, it is apprehensible. It is negative. It's not a good thing. I probably would never do it. And anytime that I've been ever like bot followed or something like that, I've never kept them. I've always removed them. But it's just strange to me that Drake would go through all these loops. Drake would go through all these loops to prove that, you know, Drake is actually not the problem here, and it's really Kendrick. And, you know, it's just crazy to me that Aubrey would be so fixated on someone else's music getting farmed when he himself, in May of this year, was accused of doing the same thing. And we were told just to look the other way because, you know, that's just what people do. Drake accused of botting again, and it wasn't his first time. So, like we always say in the normal world, be careful who you're pointing that finger at, because there's a few cup pointing back at you, and maybe you don't want to be so loud and bombastic about a song calling you a pedophile, and your biggest concern isn't the fact that the song is calling you a pedophile. Your biggest concern is that it's getting more plays and views than your music. And if that's not telling on yourself, I don't know what is. But that's just my perspective. I'm curious to know what yours is. Like, share, subscribe. Wop, 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 wop.